Welcome to Light and Peace Through the Storm. I'm Cecilia. Each week we have honest conversations about real life challenges, and we explore how to find peace, clarity, and hope, even in the most difficult moments of life. Wherever you are listening from today, remember that peace is possible and light is always present, even in the storm. After my husband's funeral, my friends returned to their lives, and my daughter went back to school, and I was all alone in the house. The silence was deafening. Every sound felt amplified by his absence. I was intensely reminded of who I was missing. My dear husband. Every room felt more empty than usual. I'll be watching television. Suddenly I will stop, and my eyes will rest on the mantle of the fireplace, where his picture was sitting there. And I found myself grabbing the picture before I even could realize what I was doing. And I'll hold it close to my chest, tears streaming down my face, weeping profusely and asking him why he left me alone. Sometime later, the pressure began. It was subtle at first, but it was persistent. You need to move on, they said. You did your best. He will want you to be happy. He will want you to live. Till death do us part, right? So he's gone now. You should live. I know they meant well, but they didn't understand. They did not understand that half of me was gone. I wasn't functioning as a whole person. I felt like half of me was not there. And I wasn't even doing well at that. With all my background, all my psychology background, all my years of helping others go through grief, it was not sufficient to help me. Grief humbles us like that. I know that as you're listening to me now, chances are you've already walked through grief. Maybe one that was more than just sadness. A grief that really changed you. But you survived the shock. You endured the fog. And your perspective of life has changed. The world is not the same to you anymore. But you are still here, still breathing, still showing up. But you are likely wondering, how do I live after this? Today's episode is not about moving on. It's not about forgetting. It's not about pretending that the pain isn't there for you. It's about learning how to live with what happened to you, the great loss that you have experienced. It is about finding peace by simply being open to the possibility. Finding guidance, not necessarily as a full plan, but as the next step forward. Finding clarity, not as to the answers why it happened, but understanding what matters now. And hope, not loud or force, but quiet and faithful. This episode is for those of you that are still standing still here. You are still here. Still wondering though, what happens next? Well, today's episode will explore 3 areas. 1, when the real grief begins. 2, how the loss changes you, and ways you can find peace, clarity, and hope as you learn to live again. Now, when does the real grief really begin? It begins after the funeral, after the burial, after the cards stop arriving, after the phone calls come in not as much, and everybody has returned to their routines. Your friends go back to work. Lives move forward. And you seem like you're left standing still. After my husband passed and after everyone had returned to their routine, I wasn't doing very well by myself. My grief intensified. I realized what I needed wasn't answers. No, I did not need answers. I just needed someone to understand what I was going through, how I felt, the pain, the excruciating pain that was in my heart. I wanted someone who had walked through the path, who had experienced the loss similar to mine. So I joined a Christian support group, and it was eye-opening for me. Some people had been attending for years, and they still spoke and wept as if the loss just happened yesterday. And strangely, that gave me some comfort. It made me realize I was doing far better than I thought I was. That I wasn't failing. I wasn't confused. My feelings were normal. I was just simply grieving. I attended only a few sessions, not all of the sessions, but the ones I attended were enough. I learned that healing isn't forced. It should be guided to take its natural course. It was okay for me to cry. It was okay for me to stay in bed some days when I didn't feel like getting out. It was okay for me to lose interest in things I once loved. Because you know what? They will all return. Slowly, naturally, in their own time. I also learned not to panic when it felt like I was moving backwards. That too was part of the process. One of the hardest things about grief is not being able to really grieve because of some expectations or circumstances that will not allow you room for it. My daughter went through that. She experienced that. And one day she shared her experience with me, how she was really feeling. Because as a mother, your child is going through stuff, but you don't really know all the details. And I'm glad she shared it with me. She was in a demanding STEM program at the university, facing exams when my husband passed. So to her, grieving felt like a luxury that she couldn't afford. She didn't have time for it. So she decided to just hold it in. And she described it to me this way. You tell yourself you're holding it together. You seal your emotions tightly to get through the day. Class to class, moment to moment. But grief doesn't stay contained forever. It's like carrying a full cup with a lid that is loose. and you are moving carefully, gently, and you tell yourself you're fine, that you're okay. And then life bumps you, and a tear slips out in the car. A sob catches you off guard, and your hands grip the steering wheel too tightly. You cry in the shower as something inside you breaks open, just for a second. Then the spills dry. You wipe your face, and you steady yourself, and you say, "See, I'm okay. I can keep going. I am doing fine." But grief is patient. It takes something as simple as a memory, a scent, a sound, and then an ordinary moment suddenly isn't ordinary anymore. And the cup you're holding jolts again. And more, the grief will spill out. Unexpected, relentless, reminding you that your cup of emotions is still very full. That image has stayed with me, and I'm glad that she shared it with me. One thing about grief is that it is important that you accept that you have changed, that you're no longer the same. One of the hardest truths after loss is that you don't go back to who you were before, because loss reshapes you. It changes who you are. It rewires your heart. It alters how you see time, relationships, and what truly matters to you. Trying to return to the way things used to be will only cause your pain and healing to be more, and for your healing to be delayed. The Bible says in Isaiah 43 verse 18 to 19, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." God is doing a new thing in you. You don't have to erase your memory. It is an invitation to allow God to transform you. You are not broken. You are not broken just because you are grieving. You are grieving because you loved deeply. Yes. So it may not seem like it, but something good, something really good can come out of your pain. Think about it. One of the things about surviving, being a survivor, is that sometimes there's a lot of guilt. I noticed that in the support group I joined, that some of the people who are stuck in their grief year after year, they are feeling guilty. They're asking, did I do enough? If I had noticed sooner? If I had said something differently? Sometimes some of them were very angry at themselves, at God, and even at the person who died. Yeah, it may not make sense. And unresolved guilt, it can affect your current relationships if it is not controlled. The person that is grieving, their guilt of surviving is real. Guilt for laughing again, guilt for enjoying beauty, for moments when the pain loosens its grip. And you may wonder, if I feel okay, does that mean I love them less? Let me say this to you very clearly. Joy is not betrayal. Living is not forgetting. No, you are not forgetting your loved one. Healing is not disloyalty. In Psalm 30 verse 5, it says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Just as the morning does not erase the night, your joy does not minimize your loss. So it is okay for you to be happy. It is okay to be happy. One thing about grief, the times that it becomes even more difficult, is the triggers, the anniversaries that reopen the wounds, the dates, the anniversaries, birthdays, holidays. And then suddenly, an ordinary day feels very heavy. It's not ordinary anymore. For me, the anniversary of my husband's death, his birthday, and New Year's Eve, they are rolled into one. Were it not for God, were it not for God, I don't know how I could have coped. And you may think you are getting better, and then a song plays, a scent drifts by, and the memory resurfaces without warning, and the wave of pain comes back. Triggers that make you feel like you've gone backwards when you think you are making good progress. But you haven't gone backwards. A trigger is not proof that you're failing. It is proof that you loved and loved deeply. Anniversaries don't erase your healing. They reveal where love still lives in your heart. And so when a trigger hits, your first instinct may be to escape it. But guidance only comes from slowing down, not speeding things up. Ask yourself, why is this moment here? What could this moment be asking of me? What do I need right now? Sometimes the answer may be rest. Sometimes it is tears. It is okay for you to cry. Sometimes it's reaching out for help. It's okay too. Instead of fighting the wave, allow it to pass through you. Allow the wave to pass through. Grief lives in the body, and memories are carried in your senses. Certain dates hold weight more than others because of the fact that they mattered. And peace doesn't come from pretending it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. No, that's not how it is. Peace will come from your meeting your hurt with gentleness, acceptance. In Isaiah 41 verse 10, God says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. I will uphold you." He did not say he will remove the wave. He did not say he will rush the process. No, he will uphold you through it. That is the promise of God. So, the anniversary may bring ache, but you won't drown in it. If today feels heavier, it doesn't mean you are broken. It means your heart remembers. It remembers that you loved deeply. So when the date comes, when the memory rises again, when the trigger hits, slow down. Don't block it out. You are not going backwards. You are healing in layers. And even in this wave, you are still being held in the loving arms of our God. You just need to feel it. Now, when the future feels empty, that's when you need the guidance. The future may feel blank after the loss, and the plans that you had may no longer make any sense. Your dreams become irrelevant, and you may feel like you have no direction. And you wonder, how do I move from here? What do I do? Guidance after loss rarely comes as long-term solutions or long-term answers. It comes as permission to listen again. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Grief humbles us into admitting that we don't know everything. We don't know anything. Sometimes, not knowing opens the door for God to lead, for you to let Him lead. Lead you, guide your step one at a time. All you need to do is to let Him in. So I have a question for you. If the future feels overwhelming, do you ask, what is my 5-year plan? No, the correct thing is to ask, what is my next step forward? My next faithful step. Peace after loss doesn't mean constant calm. No. Peace looks like breathing through waves of emotion, letting tears come without panic, feeling strong even when sadness returns. Peace isn't the absence of grief. It's the absence of fear about what grief can do to you. In John chapter 14, verse 27, Jesus says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you." Jesus is not offering you denial of your pain, of your loss. He's not offering you distraction. No, He offers you peace that can coexist with your sorrow. Yes, that's what He offers you. You can feel His peace even in your sorrow. So what matters now is this, that loss has a way of clarifying your life. What once felt urgent no longer matters. Relationships may shift. Your tolerance for pretense may cease. You become more discerning. And you may find out that after loss, your love becomes more intentional. Your boundaries are clearer. Your compassion and empathy, it deepens. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, it says, "There is a time for everything." Loss can mark a new season. And different seasons call for different ways of living. Yes. So what way are you going to live now? Now I want you to know that hope grows slowly. Hope after loss is not loud. It doesn't come with a lot of loudness. It grows quietly. It may look like imagining a future again, even though cautiously. Opening a space for purpose. Allowing yourself to love deeply again. Remember that hope doesn't erase pain. It reminds us that pain doesn't have the last word. In Romans chapter 15 verse 13 it says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace." Hope fills what grief once emptied. It centers you. And you are carrying your love forward. You loved. And now you are carrying that love forward. It's not about closing the chapter. I once said that grief is love with nowhere to go. But your love is not aimless. You can carry your love forward. You honor who you lost by how you choose to live now. By loving honestly, even when you are vulnerable. By living gently with yourself and others. Also by allowing grief to soften you, not to harden you. Grief does not mean your story is over. It means your love was real. Real love doesn't disappear with death. It asks to be carried forward. It asks to be lived. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 8, it says, Paul says, "Love never ends. Love remains." And when we allow it to live through us, we honor the person that we lost and the person that God is making us, changing us, transforming us to be. Yes. So you can live again, carrying the love in your heart. If you are learning how to live after loss, I want you to hear this. You are allowed to live. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to hope. Peace comes in moments. Guidance comes in steps. Clarity comes in seasons. And hope comes quietly, faithfully. You are not leaving your loved one behind. You are carrying them with you, going forward. Share it with someone who is learning to live again. And may God bless you as you do so. Thank you for spending this time with me on Light and Peace Through the Storm. To stay connected, visit ceciliapublished.com or follow the podcast on YouTube and social media at Light and Peace Pod. Music in this episode is fully licensed for this podcast. Until next time, remember, peace is possible and light is always present, even in the storm.